Alright, so we're going to be going over medical marijuana in this video, the company, and it's a fairly interesting company. It's popped before the election, before the Hillary versus Trump election. And if you bought it before the election and held it, you would have roughly 3 times your money right now, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, kind of depends when you sold it and for how much you bought it. But the stock did go up, as in pretty much every other marijuana company. Some went more than that, some went less, but the company does have a little bit of a bad rap, but let's actually take a look at the numbers and see where it's at. So I'm going to be looking at the most recent report, which is Q3 of 2016. You can find that on the website. If you go to their website, it's under reports and disclosures, and you can look at every single year. But we're going to go to the report. I'm quickly going to go just through the few things that I think are relevant, and then we're going to go all the way to the bottom and actually look at the numbers. But they have an authorized number of shares of 5 billion shares. And by the way, the stock price is low, and they do have 3 billion shares at the moment, and that does scare a lot of people away. And it's a reasonable fear of people. You know, investing into penny stocks is also pretty expensive. Uh, the commissions that you have to pay whenever you buy this are ridiculous. They're close to like 5%, which is it's a lot, obviously. But you can also make a lot of money off this. So yeah, but they have a little bit over 3 billion shares right now. And in the third quarter of 2016, they issued 78 million shares, which is a lot, and it's more than they usually issue. So they're in need of a lot of money, and this is how they finance themselves, because they can't get money any other way, I guess. So yeah, it's not good, obviously, but it's just how it is. So once you get over that, we can continue looking. These are the subsidiary companies that they owe. So some of these they owe 100%, some of these they owe half, and some of these are partial. So HempMeds is their most valuable kind of brand name and their most valuable company. HempMeds Brazil is the most valuable. You'll see that later in the actual numbers. But this is pretty much the thing that they owe that has the most potential. Well, maybe the Canchu biotechnology technologies, that's kind of 50-50, but HempMeds Brazil definitely has the most technology, and I'll go to that in a little bit. But so there's some information about the companies, and they also owe 44% of Axim Biotechnologies and 16% of Canna Life Sciences. So Axim is actually active in the stock market. It went up today, but so they're currently developing a. Actually, I'll go into that later. But they're worth almost 600 million on the stock market, and it's overvalued. It's overvalued currently, but the technology that they have patented, it has a lot of potential, which is why they're worth so much. So that's a good thing because it does add to the potential of the stock. But anyways, let's go all the way down to the numbers. I'm not going to go through some of the little minor details that are up there, but so currently total assets excluding what they have in this stock. For some reason they don't include the stock that they have here. I don't know why, but they don't. But they have 209 million in assets. So if you don't know what assets are, it's basically cash, inventory, and the value of all of their companies except this stock. I don't know why they don't include it, but that's how it is. So yeah, 209 million plus they have about 200 million in this stock. That's roughly what the market cap of the company is in the stock market. So it's okay. But the most interesting thing about this company, and why I actually think that it's somewhat decent, even though it's pretty shady and it has not very good finances, but the company has a lot of potential in Brazil. So HempMeds Brazil, they value it at 140 million, but the thing that's good about the company is that so medical marijuana, they are the only players in Brazil and Mexico right now, which is actually a fairly significant deal because Brazil has 200 million people in it and Mexico has 100 million people. So if they can somehow monopolize the market, or at least just have a huge share of the market, then they can make a lot of money off it once it matures and once the medical studies start coming out that actually confirm, or at least partially confirm, that marijuana oils help treat certain diseases. That would actually be pretty good. But For example, let's say that 1 in 1,000 people in Brazil needs medical marijuana oil every single year, and let's say that uh, from from every single person, 1 out of 1,000 people, from those people, that medical marijuana makes $100. Well, if that was the case, then they would be making 20 million a year just from Brazil, which is it's pretty good. It pretty much justifies this market cap, and they have a lot of other investments, so they have potential to actually grow even more than they currently are now. Um, so they also have Canaway. This is more of just a marketing firm that markets medical marijuana products. Nothing too interesting. I looked into it. Currently, the company I actually called today and asked them about the prices and asked them if I could buy in bulk, what type of discounts they could give me. They actually make quite a bit on it, and if you want to buy in bulk, they can give you fairly good discounts, and they still make a lot of money, which is pretty interesting. Um, so yeah. So in addition to their hemp med companies, which specialize in markets that other companies don't really specialize in or aren't really trying to get into, they also have the Axim Biotechnologies. They're currently working on a medical study. It's currently in progress, phase 1, to test whether or not their Cantu technology, their gum that releases CBD cannabinoids into your body, they're testing if it helps reduce what's it called? Forgot what it's called. Bell syndrome, something Bell syndrome related. So yeah, they currently have a medical study going, and if that study comes back positive, then this stock should experience some fairly good gains because irritated bowel syndrome, that's what it was. So if that study comes back positive, then this company could potentially get into a very big market, and they could potentially be worth a few billion. In which case, the stock goes from 15 cents to maybe 45 cents, and then some people would make money, including me, hopefully. Alright, so moving on. So for the 3 months, for a 3-month period of 2016, so for this 3-month period, they had a total income of 2,188,000, 922,000 in cost of goods. So that left them with $1 million. Now that's pretty crappy earnings considering that the company has a market capitalization of 450 million right now, but the company is obviously growing, so in the future, in the next few quarters, hopefully the earnings start going up, because if they don't, then the company will decrease in value significantly. But they lost $8 million for these 3 months, which is it's normal for developing companies to lose a lot of money. It's not that big of a deal. Other than that, we don't have anything too interesting here. This company has been a little bit shady in the past because their stock has gotten pumped and dumped quite a bit in the past. I mean, it went from 3 cents to 36 cents, so 11 times gain, and then it went all the way back down eventually. So a lot of people are very annoyed at this stock because they lost money on it. I mean, realistically, if a stock goes from 3 cents to 36 cents, that's too much. No stock should be able to grow 11 times and actually be sustainable in the long run. That doesn't happen. So people are wary, and in the future, if positive news does come out, this stock is not gonna pop up as much as it would, as other stocks would, but it still has potential, in my opinion, for actual growth. What else is there? So they have 209 million in assets. They do have a lot of potential for growth, and whether or not that will happen is kind of interesting. So currently you can't sell medical marijuana oil on eBay or Amazon, so that actually kind of hurts the market, even though people are selling it. But I called today and asked if I could buy the oil, if I could sell oils on eBay and Amazon, and they said no, even though people are selling them. But this company right now, the discounts that it's offering, whenever eBay and Amazon decide that they are going to be selling cannabinoid products, that are completely legal in the US, by the way, already. But whenever that happens, this company should see a rise in revenues because people can actually buy in bulk oils from this company for medical marijuana from their hemp meds subsidiary. They can actually buy the oils at a discount in bulk, sell them on eBay or Amazon, and make a profit. There's plenty of room there at current prices. So company has potential. It's difficult to say whether or not it will actually grow. It really depends on how it plays out, and I can't really say if it will or won't. But that's the numbers. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them.